Welcome back to the New York Athletic Club. My name is Dave Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to this men's semifinals match. The Race for 8 brought to you by Edel Handball at edelhandball.com, where you can go there and check out all of their swag. They're here at the New York Athletic Club showing off their new gloves and their shirts and their gear and their eye guards. It's pretty cool. You can check it out online as we get ready for Paul Brady, the gunner from Ireland, County Cavan, going up against Armando Ortiz, a fan favorite everywhere he goes. Paul Brady is a New York Athletic Club sponsored player, but Mondo is sponsored by the Los Angeles Athletic Club. So we have LA versus New York via NYAC and Ireland, I guess, if you want to put it in those words. As we get ready here for this first semifinal match. Robbie McCarthy, also from Ireland, will be going up against Nani Alvarado, coming up right around the corner. The USHA four-wall nationals will be back in Minnesota this year at the beautifully renovated or refurbished, depending on how you want to word it, University of Minnesota Rec Center. I've been there before, also did a live broadcast from there, and it's actually just a wonderful venue. That's the event where you can play against the best players in the world in your age bracket, your skill level. You could even take on a pro or even watch the action from the pro. That's June 17th through the 22nd. You can get more information at ushandball.org. The online entry is always available at r2sports.com. And you can see the referee is Anthony Celesto for this match. Flipping the coin as he will get this one underway. Paul Brady, one of the hardest hitters in the history of this game, also going up against pound for pound, one of the hardest hitters I've seen in my years, Armando Ortiz. Mondo says just openly, I play big ball. I play with a racquetball on a 3-wall or a 1-wall court. I do that every single day. I work in construction. When I get off, I ride my bike to the courts and we just play. That's what I do. But this year, I will also play small ball, hard ball as I throw it into the mix. I'll go down to the Los Angeles Athletic Club and play some big ball early in the day and then come out there and do that at the Los Angeles Athletic Club. He said it just made my small ball game better. You know, we have all these clinics as we tour the country. A lot of players say, how can I make my game better? Well, I can attest to this as well. Mine got better after I started playing big ball. And that's what Mondo Ortiz is doing, and he has all of California watching this live broadcast as he is the Cinderella story as of this tournament. Had to be a qualifier once again, goes through the number 2 seed to make it to this point, playing Paul Brady as he defeated Dave Fink in the round of 8, now in the semifinals. He also had to qualify to get here.
You guys ready?
And now we're getting the announcement from our referee, Anthony Celesto. Here's the announcement.
Serving first from California, Armando Ortiz.
Hands together from the round of applause coming from that gallery that's down low and up high.
Retrieving serve, Paul Brady from Ireland.
And you see a little dialect.
2 games to 21, possible 3rd to 11. Gentlemen, good luck. 0 plays 0.
A little bit of dialect slang coming from Anthony Celesto, our referee. And Mondo Ortiz, strong point is his serve and first strike. Paul Brady can do both. Here it is. That's Paul Brady's first strike. A lot of power right there. Mondo certainly is a little bit nervous, as most players are, against Paul. Paul is just trying to get back into form. He has not played a lot of handball. In fact, he said, I just
0 plays 0.
Need to get back into shape, into handball shape, and he hasn't played much because of a shattered finger
Point.
That he
1 plays 0.
got from playing Gaelic football.
Set out. 0 plays 1. Play 0. Short.
I want to welcome into the broadcast booth Dave Chapman, who has never figured out how to put a headset on Although I know you've done a lot of live broadcasts and you've been filmed before, Dave. But you've got the headset on, so that's good. 0-1. Look at that crack serve, but it was dug out by Armando Ortiz, and Paul Brady hits.
Looked like a short serve to me.
An 85-mile-per-hour serve, and you know what? It's
both agreed. It's a point. One plays one. Two plays one.
We're at 2-1 now.
Short.
That one was short. That's not going to be appealed.
I thought the other one was short too. This is obviously going to be a very fast-paced game.
It's going to be really fast. The action is so quick. I thought I was. We're here in a squash court doing the live broadcast. It's like I'm watching squash right now. That's what it feels like.
I am willing to make a bet that there's no lob serves in this match.
Huh. That ball just over the line, and Armando Ortiz has that first early jitters. Well, as we also welcome in Dave Fink into the booth.
Well, how much of those jitters caused by this unbelievable shot making? I don't see anyone in the world hitting shots like Paul Brady.
Well,
even
Paul's
the simplest
gunning.
Shots.
Yeah, he's gunning right now.
Check the ball, please.
Just the way the ball comes off Paul Brady's hands, the way it flattens out on the floor. I just don't see anyone in the world doing that.
4 plays one over.
Paul, I think, looks fitter than I've ever seen him.
2 serves.
Just an extraordinary athlete.
Dave, right before the match, I was talking with Paul, and he says he's not in shape right now.
Well, that's an Irish thing, Dave. The Irish come to the tournament and downplay their
And not in shape
preparation.
actually means in shape.
Yeah.
And ready to hit corner kills and off-balance paddle re-kills into the left corner.
That's all part of
5
the
plays one.
psychological training.
I was thinking about moving to Ireland because of that phrase. Now look at that ball just die back there with a little reverse slide that Paul puts on to Mondo Ortiz.
Actually, that was a natural, but go ahead.
Okay, nobody scored more than 12 points off of Armando Ortiz so far in this tournament. Nobody more than 12.
1 plays 6.
Well, I think we can be assured that that'll be broken. You know, Mondo's got a great attitude. He goes in there, he doesn't put any pressure on himself. He just goes out and plays.
That was a huge hook right there that caught Paul diving for that ball mid-court.
2 plays 6.
Dave, you've been in here a couple times watching Mondo play now. I believe you were here in the last match that he was on. You have to be somewhat impressed
Ball.
with what you're seeing from this Vince Munoz protege.
Yeah, he's definitely stepped his game up. He does look a little nervous right now. Hopefully he'll settle down and start making the shots that he's capable of.
Can you blame a guy to have a little bit of nervous energy?
No, you can't blame him at all. It's I don't think he's ever been in this format. I don't know if he's played Brady before.
I don't know either. I don't think it's ever happened that I know of. And that's the Brady factor. It used to be the Dave Chapman factor, but you also, it still is the Dave Chapman factor, to be honest. But the Brady factor is these guys just don't see this guy play very often, and you just, the younger players just are a little bit more nervous than coming into this match. You saw Emmett Peixoto actually admitting it earlier today. But he's a psych major. They usually admit things like that.
Actually, philosophy,
Wow.
they're two different disciplines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
Are they?
Well, you can actually get paid to see patients
4
as a
plays
psychologist. I don't know what you can get paid with a philosophy degree to do. Wow.
Oh, look at that mouse.
Two amazing left-handed kills.
5 plays 6. Short.
Starting to get a little confidence here,
Second
Dave.
serve.
This is like Spies Like Us when Chevy Chase said, doctor, 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 Dave.
That was
Dave."
an amazing shot right there.
Yeah.
Now Mondo Ortiz.
Not so much.
I'm sorry. I didn't watch Spies Like Us. I was working that day.
I bet.
Together at 6.
We're all together now. That was a great shot from Mondo. And that's how you can beat Brady.
I've seen Brady on a couple of these 3-wall serves just not return them very well.
Yeah.
Mondo attacks. I'm not sure if I'm saying shirt phrases,
7 plays 6.
phrases that should be on shirts. That's how you beat Brady,
Yeah.
and Mondo attacks.
Short
But
ball.
Could that be the next WPH slogan?
I think that's all I do
Second
is
serve.
talk in slogans.
Yeah.
That ball hit Mondo somewhere.
That will leave a mark. Is that another?
Is that
slogan?
it?
No,
Is that-
I was
it
just
is.
going for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I thought that hit Mondo somewhere was a good shirt, but it all
2
depends on the
serves,
font.
7 plays 6.
7 to
That's
6.
called taking it too far. And that's a
TTFR.
wow. Mondo should have won this rally on the first strike.
Wow, look at those legs from Paul Brady flipping around like that, Dave. I know that you would have stayed completely checked up to the right using your left corner kill.
That's my fault. I should have a ball. I don't have one up here.
That ball broke, though. Mondo Ortiz breaks that ball on that shot right there. And as you see here, the VIPs are courtside. That includes Jennifer Hinman as well as Mike Schneider, the Monster, Raul Ration.
Bill Mahilos.
Bill Mahilos also sitting courtside.
But Dave, there's a huge overflow area also that are watching the webcast in the clubhouse.
All we need is for our producer to turn the volume up on that TV out there. And yeah, it would be really great if they did that.
Actually, I think for their sake, it probably would be really great if they didn't.
Okay.
The way this broadcast is going.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So you're analyzing in real time.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Not too proud to be a part of it so far.
Well,
So just to focus back on the match here, Mondo has
There's that.
hit some unbelievable shots with his left hand that, you know, what I've always said about Brady is you got to stay close with him. If you stay close with him, he's not going to hit those crazy shots that he can hit. And right now, Mondo's close. Let's see what he can do for the rest of the match.
Did you say that in an article somewhere?
I have, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Heard about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
In an article, out, you know,
Playing that
out
over.
loud.
Okay.
Broken ball. 7 plays 6. Short.
I was wondering when we would be able to discuss the article formally.
Second serve.
well, it's going to be informal no matter what happens. You see two offensive players playing here. And that's just a crazy,
Oh, that was a miss.
No good?
crazy miss right there. I thought that ball was good just
Yeah.
by the way it came out, but apparently it skipped in.
6
We
plays
just didn't have
7.
a good angle on the final shot there.
It's interesting. Paul has a completely different mental approach, Dave, than you, at least outwardly. He almost comes in insecure, like, you know, I don't think I can win. Who am I going to play? I'm not prepared.
And I
No, not you.
I know,
I'm
but
speaking-
you, oh, you mean Jay
this
Chapman.
Dave,
I thought you
yeah.
meant,
7
and I
plays
come
7.
out overly confident.
Do you play handball? I'm not talking about.
You said Dave.
A little bit of a lazy swing there,
7
which
plays
normally
7.
you don't see from Brady.
We're all together.
Almost like he tried to float that into the left corner.
Point.
Well, you have to remember, Paul is trying to recover from that shattered finger.
8 plays
What
7.
does a shattered finger mean? What does that mean?
That means you have multiple breaks.
Oh, okay.
Short.
Because I jammed my finger a few weeks ago. And does that mean it's shattered or just jammed? Or
Probably just as bad.
See,
Okay.
there's that 3-wall serve he's getting a setup off of. Brady does not look good on that return, which is probably one of the only shots that I've ever seen him not set up and just rifle down
9
that left
plays
wall.
7.
Chapman, does that make you want to change your first serve with that lob serve against Brady?
Wow.
You know, I've considered a few different serves that I'm going to use against him, but I am going to always start with the lob because I think I can get
10
a
plays
ceiling
7.
ball to the right And if I'm making the ceiling shots off the back wall, I like myself.
Mondo looks really good right now.
Well, Mondo scored 9 points in a row
1 minute,
against Paul
11,
Brady.
play
Excuse me,
7.
9 out of 10. Paul
Mondo
Brady
will
led
serve.
6-2.
It's best 2 out of, excuse me, it's the best 3 out of 21 tiebreaker to 11. Best 2 out of 3 to
That's
21
right,
tiebreaker to 11. It's not a one-game match to 25, Dave.
No, I know.
I know that means that the scoreboard's going to get wiped off here because it says game 1, but Mondo Ortiz is really playing strong handball right now, and I know that he's making fans right now. You can check him out at Mondo Ortiz. Handball.com. I made that completely up. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not even a domain. But if you were, his camp right now is really breathing and living Mondo Ortiz, and there's nothing greater than seeing Timbo Gonzalez. Did I say that right? He is in the broadcast booth here trying to get our attention, but now Paul Brady, who calls that timeout. I don't know if I've ever recalled seeing Paul Brady call a timeout. Did I say Timbo's name correctly?
No.
Okay. I said Timbo Gonzalez. It could have been Timbo Morales. I don't know, but somebody came in here. Mondo is really pumped up right now. Gave us a quick look, Dave, and I know that you logged this in your stat sheet.
11 plays 7.
11-7.
Oh my gosh, Mondo is just absolutely Paul Bradying Paul Brady. He's got Paul Brady on the run here, and he lost control of that rally. Should have won that rally for a 12-7 lead instead.
7 plays 11.
Now it's Mondo making an error there.
8 plays 11.
I want to say hello to Chip Morales watching from Hawaii right now. It's probably like 2 in the morning.
9 plays 11.
Actually, it's a lot earlier there, Dave. As you go west, it gets earlier.
No, I mean 2 in the morning today.
No.
No, it's definitely about 5 or 6 hours earlier than where we're at right now. But
There's a skip by Brady you
11
normally
plays
don't
9.
see around this time of the game.
these skips usually happen in the first couple points,
Yes.
not at 20.
Is that all? 9
Well, we've
plays
seen
11.
Paul Brady play some sloppy matches,
Short
including winning the U.S. Open in 2012, playing really sloppy handball.
Second serve.
You remember against Emmett in the quarterfinals there, he won 9-9, but made a lot of really strange errors. And then against Sean Lenning in the semifinals, also a lot of errors. He was lucky to win that match.
11 plays 9.
2008 national final against Tony Healy, we saw Paul Brady very passive. Won that 11-9 in the tiebreaker. And Mondo
Is that all?
looks like he's in control of most of these rallies.
9 plays 11.
And we're back. Oh, and Mondo skips that ball in. That's the Brady factor.
I don't know that it is.
Well,
It could be a little bit of,
10 plays 11.
he may be a little bit tired in there.
Short ball.
this is where those qualifier matches might wane in a little bit.
Second serve.
Mondo told me before he gets to work every morning, starts work at 7, he gets to the work around 6 or 6:30 and runs up a hill for a half hour to 45 minutes to get his workout in. Said he's really concentrating on his small ball game right now. Want to compliment our referee, Anthony Celesto, who lost early here in a shocking upset. He stayed around all weekend reffing,
Together at 11.
helping out, webcasting, and he's actually doing a really good
Short
job
ball.
up in that hot seat right now. He's learned through the fire, as they say.
Both these players are very easy to ref. You're not going to get too many complaints from either one of these.
I haven't heard anything from any of these guys, and Paul just hits a laser right there and gets his 12th point.
Timeout, Mondo, it's your
There's
first.
a little fatigue there. You see the
12
hands on the
plays
hips there,
11.
Dave. Think.
Paul will be serving.
Well,
the
you know,
in
I
1
think
minute.
Mondo's played some really hard rallies here in the last 5 or 6 rallies, and wouldn't say that he's out of shape, but he should be able to recover nicely after a 1-minute break here. I don't think it matters how great a shape you're in. If you're moving side to side and playing 25-shot rallies back to back, you're going to feel a bit winded. He's also got some nervous energy. Mondo has got some of the strongest legs I've ever seen. I mean, he's got tree trunks for legs, and that's really what separates guys that can last throughout tournaments, are those huge legs.
Also, a huge pocketbook can kind of separate you from the other guy. Not necessarily on the court, but just in a social aspect.
Yeah.
I know that's very important for some of these guys.
Ten seconds. All right, gentlemen, here we go. Play resumes. 12 plays 11.
Oh, it's a great shot from Mondo, but Paul Brady anticipates it, and Davey keeps his hand parallel to the floor there and lets the ball drop almost to the second bounce, and then just hits a laser
13 plays 11.
that stays parallel with the floor, a flat rollout.
I know I've said this word many times, but it's just the fundamentals of Brady are just fantastic on the shots. And see, now he's getting his confidence.
Yeah.
Ortiz was up 11-7. Brady wasn't the same
Right.
player. Now he's got his confidence. He's up 14-11. I look to him to run away with the rest of this game.
Well, you know, we know Brady as being, you know, the great shot maker and the hard hitter and the flat rollouts, but the last 2 points we've seen 2 incredible paddle kills. One was a hard paddle kill that was about an inch high. That last one was more of a soft paddle kill with his left hand. Both were kill shots in both points. Are we possibly
That was a
seeing the
point.
next Paul Brady rival here in
14
Armando
plays 11.
Ortiz?
The score here is 14-11. It's best 2 out of 3 to 21, breaker to 11. You know, I've always felt that Mondo could be that guy if he just focused.
Well, you
And
know,
look at that
Mondo's,
shot.
It's a big point there. That's a
Mondo's
big-
had some health
big set
problems
out.
in the last couple of years, but he came up in that amazing junior class of Luis Moreno and Robbie McCarthy, and
11 plays
Mondo was
14.
always that guy that was right there. Incredible serve there from Mondo.
Point.
Well, he's
12
so
plays
much like
14.
Vince Munoz that I could see a Vince Munoz defeating Paul Brady at Vince's prime.
I could have, absolutely.
Well, that's why I feel that let's let Mondo become the new Vince. But he has to also want it as well. I'm not sure
13 plays
he's
14.
always felt like he wanted it.
Short ball.
Win or lose here, though, Mondo is going to get a lot of confidence from this moment forward. He just defeated Nadi Alvarado
serve.
at a recent tournament. And that was a big thing for him. Wow, Paul Brady kind of fooled there.
Paul left that paddle shot way up. And he was fortunate to win the point with a pass shot that really wasn't that good. He caught the side wall
Right out.
just before Mondo Ortiz
14
there, but
plays
got away with it.
13.
Big setup here for Paul. And that's where having all that power really works to your advantage. He doesn't have to go for the bottom board. He rips an 80-mile-per-hour pass shot with hop right at Mondo's feet
15 plays 13.
and forces the air.
Short ball.
Dave, why do you see so many power servers come up short when they serve behind themselves to the left? Is it they're trying to hit a reverse and the ball dies off the front wall, or
Second serve.
they're not hitting it quite high enough? What do you think it is, Dave?
You know, it's just tough time after time to get that ball within 6 inches of the red line. So to be that precise time after time, and the wall's different, you know, the spots on the wall are different. It's just a
16 plays
difficult serve to
13.
hit, in my opinion.
But you see a lot of guys coming up 2-3 feet short consistently. Nadi being one of those who's a great server, but when he goes to his left, and we'll have a little break here, he seems to come up 2 or 3
Thank
feet
you,
short,
2
not
minutes.
just
13 plays 16.
3 or 4
when we
inches.
resume.
You know,
I think they
Mondo will
don't want to hit the ball off the back wall under any circumstance. So they'd much rather come up short than come up long.
Err on the side of a short serve rather than giving their opponent a setup.
Yes.
Okay.
I was thinking, Dave, you know, we've seen these guys sometimes, they just don't bend their knees enough and have confidence when they take that serve. They come in there and they serve a little bit more erect and a little bit more tense than you would want them to serve in that that ball that needs to just get over the line and also slide just a little bit. But they get a little bit more erect because they're a little bit unsure of themselves. Like Dave said, you don't want to keep that ball coming off the back wall, especially against a striker, or I should say a gunner in Paul Brady. But you know, they just kind of tense up just a little bit. If you're just a little, everybody was relaxed like we are when we're in practice.
I'm shocked right now that you're actually allowed to speak.
If it was like practice and you were able to be really soft and you can throw it in there, you probably have all the confidence in the world. But these guys come in here a little bit more intense. Like Mondo right now is feeling some pressures that he's close within striking distance. But he goes in there and he is able to hit that ball right behind himself and not necessarily make it. I find it striking distance. It's 2 games to 21, tiebreaker to 11. He's showed us that he can come back and tie Paul with his, within 3 points.
You know, Mondo's certainly in this game, and this isn't the kind of thing, Dave, where I would say if Mondo doesn't win this first game that the match is over. I see Mondo being very competitive here. He looks fresh, and he's a very good matchup against Paul Brady. Sometimes you say, you know, if you don't get the first game against Paul or any other top player, it's probably going to be a quick second, but I don't sense that at all here. And the referee has called 20 seconds. Armando is here in our booth without his gloves on, so he's not going to make it back to the court within 20 seconds. Doesn't have his eye guards on. Be interesting to see what our
Mondo can put his gloves on and his eye guards in 5 seconds.
Well,
but Dave, you know, go back to that point. How do you emulate, you know, getting into that service box and getting that ball that goes behind your back that you want to hit a reverse or a natural, whatever you decide that you want to do, and get it over the service line in practice? How do you emulate that in practice? Because it's really virtually impossible to do at this, at this level. I mean, you don't. I guess my point would be Mondo Ortiz is playing Paul Brady right now.
I don't know.
You can't get that in practice.
I don't know why you couldn't emulate it, because it's the only shot where the ball is actually in your hand and you're bouncing it. So why wouldn't you be able to hit the same serve in practice or against Paul Brady?
Have you ever been pressured before?
Well, I just think if there is a shot in handball you can emulate, it is the serve. I mean, it would have to be. You know, or you can do what Paul Brady does, get to the event 4 days early and hit serves for 4 hours a day each day to get used to the walls.
But that pressure, doesn't that add something on to the moment that you're in? I mean, I'm talking about emulating the pressure that you're in, not necessarily emulating the shot.
Well, pressure is self-induced.
I mean, if you're in the World Series and you're hitting a ball right down the middle of the plate, you could swing and miss. But if you go into the batting cages and take 100 hits every single day of your entire life since the age of 10, you could have that philosophy that you should hit a home run.
Well, I think that the greatest players play better under pressure, so they would actually welcome it.
16.
I agree with that.
13 to 16.
I mean, you're going to see Roger Federer play a lot better in a Grand Slam final than you would in a practice match.
Brady's unable to get that ball, and it's called a hinder.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was right behind you. I thought you moved out of his way late.
Can he change his call there?
Moved out of his way late, Mondo.
Yeah, he really could, I think.
Yeah.
13, plays 16
over. You'd see some other players maybe with an explosion there. Not Mondo, though.
I've seen other players actually reverse that call from Paul Brady's standpoint and look up and say, no, I wouldn't have got that. And look at how that just changed everything
That's
here.
right.
Yeah, you get a bad serve, and now Brady's back up.
16 plays 13.
Well, speaking of strange calls changing things, Dave, you were up 8-1 on Nadi and hit a ball out of the stadium, and it was called a side out, and Nadi went on a 14-0 run from that point on. The rule technically was never stated, an amazing shot, but you end up getting that call against you, and I'm not saying that it stayed with you and then it upset you, but you did lose 14 points in a row, and who knows what would have happened had they given you the replay.
True, and the call didn't really bother me at all, because I kind of knew that was the rule.
It was a rule at one stop, but that wasn't a rule at this stop. You see, they changed depending on the height of that back wall. get a measuring tape and figure that out. But that wasn't something that was
stand on
stated.
Dave's shoulders to do that.
Wow, that's just amazing shot there from Brady, who's now closing the gap. I should say extending it. 17 to 3.
Plays 13.
Dave, through our research, in 21-point games, we've realized that the person that scores 17 first actually wins 85% of those games. So we'll see if that stat holds true here today.
Dave Chapman,
13
that's
plays 17.
84.9%. Dave rounded up. But
Wow.
that's actually a great stat. Whoever scores 17 first.
It's very similar to the NBA, where whoever gets to 100 first wins almost every time, over 90%.
Unless you're playing the Clippers, you just never
14
know.
plays 17.
14 to 7.
You know what I find in matches like this, where Brady's a huge favorite, is everybody's good till you get to about 15, and then the guy that, you know, like a Brady or
17 plays
Moreno
14.
or whoever's at the top will take control from there. Everybody's good till you get to 15.
But we don't see a lot of guys even get to 15 on Paul Brady.
Thank you, Paul.
We've seen Paul Brady win national titles without anyone scoring in double digits in any game in any round.
But I
14
agree with
plays
what
17.
Chapman is saying here, because we've seen it. Nikolai Nahorniak and Moreno yesterday tied at about 15, 17, 16, something like that. And you find out who the better player is right after the 15 points
17
is
plays
scored.
14.
17-14 here. I think Brady's going to get a deeper respect for Mondo Ortiz after this.
Well, Paul
match.
Brady respects everyone he plays, but that was a terrible error from Mondo. Not a good serve, and Mondo just stood up while he hit that
18 plays
and completely
14.
flubbed it.
Now, if you've ever read Paul Brady's bio, he says that he'd rather play the referee
That's true.
if he had a chance. It's kind of a strange fact. Referee is Anthony Celesto.
Well, Paul Brady's
14
hanging out
plays
in
18.
Ireland, and he hears about this guy that's beat Chapman twice and Sean Lenning and never lost to either of them in a tournament.
Yeah.
First guy ever, and he said, I want a piece of that guy.
Yeah, you call him the giant killer? Well, let me play him. I think that's what he's saying. And well, guess what? He's your ref, okay? He lost in the qualifier. You won't have a chance to play him. Probably never will.
18 plays 14.
Nice power there
thank
from
you.
Mondo.
Brady gives Mondo a little pat there.
2 serves. 18 plays 14.
I don't think Brady knew he had 2 serves there.
Mondo's made a couple of
Or
errors
maybe
here.
he did. Look at, he's going for the 3-wall on his first serve.
19 plays 14.
Maybe
Late-
Brady found something.
Late in this game, Mondo has made a couple of bad decisions and a couple of hand errors. Let's see what he does here. Dave, do you find it difficult when the ball goes, I'm talking to Dave Chapman here, the ball goes really high on this back wall, and it's a different surface. It turns into a
14 plays
glass
19.
as opposed to the solid back wall, and then you're looking up and you're seeing people, you're seeing 2 different types of back wall. Does that bother you at all as a player, trying to hit those shots?
I don't see that at all.
15
All I
plays
see is the
19.
ball, and I just try to focus on the ball every time I'm playing, and I don't see the crowd when I'm hitting the shot off the back wall.
Unless Jimmy London is back there.
Unless Jimmy London is
Okay,
back there.
thank you. I wanted to just clear that
16
up.
plays
Because
19.
you know where he is at all times. And vice versa. Not a good shot for Mondo. But Paul Brady very passive there. Terrible shot. Like that shot from Mondo. He's in control of the rally.
It's a point.
And Mondo took advantage of that fly kill. Hit a bullet down the right
17
wall.
plays 19.
Got an easier fly kill and flat killed it. Oh, amazing shot from
That was a
Mondo.
great shot.
Wow.
And here we are, Dave, at the end of the game.
Timeout, Paul. It's your
Let's-
second.
And Mondo is
18,
stepping
19,
up.
1
stepping
minute.
up to the
Mondo
plate.
will be serving.
Let's take an instant replay. That very last play, it was just 3 shots. Mondo hits a good serve here. Pretty good return from Paul. Mondo not only kills that with his left from 37 feet, but he ran back there, stopped on a dime, set himself, and hit that ball 3 inches high at 17-19.
And if you could show that replay one more time, I'll explain one more thing to the people that are watching.
Person.
So you're talking down to these guys that are fans. You're calling them people. Okay, good person.
I don't know
Here
if
it
we
is.
can see
Okay,
it
so
from
he
that angle.
kills the ball. Watch Mondo follow his shot in.
Yeah,
So
back-
he kills the ball, waiting for Brady to dig it
Yeah.
out, and he's ready to jump on the next shot.
Now-
That's
now,
an elite player right
That's
there.
a guy right there that's already played. That this is his 6th round of handball action, and he knew right after he hit it that he needs to get right back to that red carpet. And that's a good point, Mr. Chapman, for bringing that up, because Mondo is obviously still engaged in this match. It's not one of those that you know he's out
Okay,
of
gentlemen,
gas.
here we
now-
go.
now, hold on, I probably just gave one of the best things that anybody could listen
18
to.
I'm
advice
agreeing with
wise,
you. I'm
and
agreeing
you're
with you.
and you're blabbing nonsense.
Okay.
Back to the match.
Yeah.
You were
well-
worried he wasn't engaged at 19
Point.
all against Paul Brady?
Well,
He'd lost interest maybe.
well, Dave, last time you spoke, you said that his hands
Together
were
at
on his hips and
19.
he was tired. I'm just telling you, he's engaged now.
That's what it looked like when he was walking off the court.
I'm agreeing
He
with
could
you
have
from.
caught his second wind.
I'm agreeing
Oh.
with you from the 13 minutes ago when I was watching.
19 all, Mondo gives Brady an opportunity to blast
Together
the
at
ball with his
19.
right hand, and Mondo couldn't handle it, coming back at him.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's
Wow.
Oh my
a
gosh.
wrong mistake for Brady. He could have used a fist right there,
And
done
half
anything.
A fist pump there by Mondo. He wants this game.
Together at 19.
Mondo will continue to get stronger in this match, I believe. Oh my gosh. And Paul Brady goes for the bottom board on the return of serve from 35 feet and hits a rocket 82 miles per hour, 3
Together
inches
at
high,
19.
right in front of Mondo. And here's a lob serve, Dave, so you'll be paying a pretty substantial sum to both your broadcast partners here, as you did place a pretty large wager. We don't get into specifics, but
No, this is a guy that doesn't drink. Oh, I thought that was a setup. That ball should have checked up on that left wall. It skipped down the left, and Mondo out of sorts with Brady now serving to take game number 1.
did that ball slide on the wall, or did Mondo just misplay
It
it?
slid on the wall. And what's the rule on that?
That's just, you play it the way it is. Let's
Possible
watch
game
it here.
point, plays 19.
Yeah, it did
Oh,
slide.
Mondo thought that was going to check up.
Play it the way it is. Okay.
That's right. It's a slide, and who cares?
Well, they cared at the U.S. Open.
Well, it slides on every shot there.
It does.
Oh, and it does it
no.
again. Back wall,
Nice
bad
game.
hop, and Paul Brady takes game number 1, 21-19, and Mondo looks up and
You guys
says,
got
what
5
in
minutes.
the heck is going on here? 2 bad bounces to close out game number 1, losing to Paul Brady, as we are going to take a really quick timeout. We'll be back in a couple minutes. We have a 5-minute break here as Dave Fink, Dave Chapman, and yours truly will be back with more coverage at racefreight.com. Stick with us.
7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Play your part in the circle of life. Take time to be a dad today. Visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family.
Ooh.
So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Back in New York at the athletic club in Manhattan, I guess you would say it's lower Manhattan. I'm not sure if it's upper. What is it? Give me the finger, thumb up or down. South would be down, so it would be lower Manhattan as we are near Central Park. It's Central Park South, so, but that could be the northern part of, I don't really know. So let's just call it the New York Athletic Club, where Paul Brady just defeated Armando Ortiz 21-19. It might be upper Manhattan if it stops right at Central Park. Could be lower since it's South Central Park.
No, thank you.
My logic is horrible.
0 plays 0.
We're at 0-0. My name is Dave Vincent, alongside David Fink and Dave Chapman. Best friends off the microphone.
Oh.
As we found out here, and Mondo gets that first side out. Now, most players here, after they have a
0 plays 0.
a real tough battle in that first game, we see them scoring only about 6 points in game number 2. This has been the tradition of our live broadcast.
I don't see that happening here.
You think that Mondo's going to hold true?
I think Mondo will be right in this game and possibly forcing a tiebreaker. Now, you saw Mondo get real lucky on that first rally. You have to be thinking if you're Mondo, why couldn't I get a break like that at 19 all instead of those 2 terrible breaks that I got, a slide and a bad bounce? And that's just the way the game goes. I know we've all been in matches where you just can't get over that hump. You lose the game, you come out in the next game and just get 2 freak aces in a row, and you say, I just needed one of those to get the last game.
And you know, I was thinking the same thing Dave Vincent was thinking when he came into this, that he may come in and lose like a 21-6. But what I'm seeing here is Mondo looks like he's got, you know, he looks like he has some enthusiasm and some confidence still starting point 1.
Well, I'm glad to see it. I'm just surprised to see it. But, Mr. Fink, when was the last time that you recall? And I'm
1 plays 0.
referencing you first because you're like the Rain Man of handball. 19 points opponent versus Paul Brady. When was the last time that happened?
Well, it was at the World Championships when Luis Moreno lost to him 21-19. That was a completely different situation where Luis jumped on Paul 13-2, and Paul kept chipping and chipping away, ultimately coming back from 19-14 to win 21-19. And I think all 4,000 people in that arena recognized that Luis was not going to be able to duplicate that amazing performance in the second game. He was deflated. Here, I'm actually going to say I'm predicting a tiebreaker here, and I know that that's out on a limb. You have to understand, Armando Ortiz has wins this season in just 2 events. Nadia Alvarado, myself twice, Emmett Peixoto.
Set out.
Martin Mulkerns.
National Mulkerns, right.
I don't count
national
Emmett, but the other
finalist.
ones I count.
Okay.
0 plays 1.
Rightly so, but Martin Mulkerns was in the finals of the Nationals. That's also a win.
Also Andy Nett.
Okay, so he's got the Elite 8 down.
Yeah.
Martin Mulkerns watching that mouse right there in the right corner kill from Paul Brady.
Point.
Martin is watching
He's
this?
watching right now.
I
yeah.
want to say hello to
Together at
Martin,
1.
one of the great guys in
Actually,
handball.
the greatest guy in handball. I mean,
Probably,
right besides Charlie Shanks and Nikolai Nahorniak, he's certainly there. And our referee, of course.
2 bounces.
Well, there's some.
Paul
God, there's
Brady
just too many.
going to an underhand lob serve.
Well, you said that I'd bet somebody that there wouldn't be a lob
2
serve in
plays
this
1.
match. That was after the second point of this match, and
We actually are not allowed to collect bets, but we take bets in the form of donations, and that goes right into the Tahiti
1
fund.
plays
Yeah.
2.
That'll actually pay for each of our.
Well, that actually
trips
right there assures we're going to Tahiti.
Yeah, it was in question.
It was. We have a shorter season this year, and that's a skip in from Armando Ortiz. Last year we had a great time in Tahiti. This year we're just now finally officially in. So thank you very much, Dave. This is
2
usually where
plays
the
1.
streamers fall down, but it's too cold. It froze the streamer box.
And Dave, Paul Brady's now going to a serve that we're not used to seeing him hit. Does that take him out of his rhythm at all? I mean,
No.
would that be similar to you going to a power serve after normally hitting your lob serves and 2-wall serves? It's just something you're comfortable doing now. Does this make him uncomfortable in any way?
You know, it takes him out of
3
his
plays
rhythm
1.
a little bit, but it's not going to take him out of his game.
Okay.
So, and also these serves work so well against Mondo. Look at that. I mean, he's getting setups there.
Yeah.
Brady missed an easy right-handed kill.
I find sometimes as a player that generally serves a power serve, when I
1
go to a
plays
lob
3.
serve, even if I'm getting good looks, I don't feel like I'm in my rhythm because I'm serving a serve I'm not used to hitting.
Point.
Dave, do you notice that Brady doesn't make the kind of gets in the front court that a lot of these guys
2
like
plays 3.
Luis Moreno or Emmett would make? He just seems to.
Short.
He doesn't make those diving gets and
Second
keeping
serve.
rallies alive. He just seems to say, oh, well, I'll wait for the next point.
I think he makes more gets than you think. His anticipation is so great that I think he's making the gets, but not really having to
Mondo,
dive to
Okay.
get
Mondo,
them.
can you close the, Mondo, can you close the door handle, please? Thank you.
Armando Ortiz skipping another
We
ball
have
in
3
there.
plays 2.
3-2.
Mondo's the kind of player that can really dictate the match against anyone because he's got so much power and offense from everywhere on the court, so you're almost at his mercy.
Coming up next, it'll be Nadia Alvarado Jr. and
4 plays
Robbie
2.
McCarthy.
I can't wait for that one.
That means that no matter where you look in this club right now, Nadia is stretching somewhere.
Yeah.
He does about 7 hours of stretching every day.
You seem to have something against it, though.
No, I love to
really?
hear it. That's a miss hit right there from Brady, who slides across, and a replay is being called from our referee.
Is that a replay, though?
I don't know.
I mean, what else could he have done there?
He actually timed it perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, he
I
didn't.
think he dove to get the hinder.
Smart play then.
See, Brady's not sharp right now. He's making the shots that he's not making that he should right now.
Well, Dave, it seems like he's not giving himself enough space when the ball comes right back at him. He's not moving to his left quickly enough to create space to take a full swing. He's almost jamming himself by not moving his feet.
So Brady's sort of like just human then.
Possibly
I
in this
mean,
match.
Yeah. That's a skip in from Brady right there as Mondo now serving again.
Dave, I know in your career you've had some layoffs. I can remember you coming to this event in 2011, the NYAC Invitational, after not having played since the U.S. Open when you hurt your knee. That was about a 6 or 7 month break. You came here and played pretty well, but is it hard to get back into that tournament rhythm after not having played a tournament in, 8 or 9 months?
It is. It's very hard to get back into that tournament rhythm, and a lot of players have asked me, how long do you think it's going to take for you if you want to get back on top? And I've said it takes about 8 months for me personally to get back on top.
So it's like a pregnancy then, just kind of like a short pregnancy.
I don't know if I'd use that analogy.
Well, I did. Look at that corner kill, wide.
Oh,
another
such a-
skip in.
Why does that happen, Dave, for Mondo? Everything looks so good. It comes off his hand perfectly, and it just misses by 1 or 2 inches. Is he aiming too low?
No, he took the ball a little bit behind him on that shot, is what it looked like to me.
Because, Mondo will have 10 misses in a game by no more than a combined total of 10 inches. And you think to yourself, how can that keep happening? That's a good shot from Brady.
That is a great shot.
But isn't that similar to what we say about Sean Lenning as Paul Brady now pushes that down the left wall, and a round of applause from the crowd here at the New York Athletic Club. But Sean Lenning kind of does that same thing, and yourself, Dave, as well. That left corner kill that you have, and Sean's right corner dip, it's very similar. You wonder, how is a guy missing a half an inch or a fraction of an inch every single time they go for that shot in crucial situations? Are they just slightly more tense?
Well, I think when you're talking about the corner kill, you have to make sure you have the right spin on the ball when you hit the corner. And if you don't, it comes down short. But Mondo makes a lot of skips where he's aiming for the front wall first and just barely catches the floor.
You see how Mondo stepped in there during Paul's serve to kind of get him off track? Some gamesmanship.
Well, Mondo's making Paul use his full repertoire. Paul's gone to 3 or 4 different serves. He's trying different things during the rally, and that's a credit to Mondo, who's really imposed himself here on Paul.
I'm not sure if it's safe to say this, but this is not the same Paul Brady, and this is not the same Mondo Ortiz.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Brady's gone away from the power serve, because Mondo doesn't have a great defensive left, and Brady's serve is so amazing that I don't see why he'd go away from it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think
there's
that's
another, just a hair of a skip there. Takes it just a little bit behind him.
Do you find, Dave, that if you start skipping a few that are really close, do you adjust your swing? Do you aim higher? What do you do in those circumstances, Dave Chapman?
Well, I haven't hit a kill shot, so I know it wasn't me.
Okay.
Ever.
Give me the question one more time. My headset went out.
You see that, if you're playing and, you're hitting the ball pretty well, but you're just coming up short on a couple of your kills, do you adjust? Do you go for different shots? Do you keep trying to do the same thing? I mean, what's your mentality there when you're just barely missing kills?
It means that I'm taking the ball behind me. I'm not bending my legs properly. I'm not stepping into the ball. It's just a fundamental miss.
Okay.
Can you ask the other day the same question?
Wow.
Look at this. Ground and pound. I hope that's not a knee.
Okay. Oh, no. I don't like the way Mondo's walking right now.
It looks like a cramp to me.
Mondo.
Hey diddle diddle right down the middle.
I don't know that it is a cramp. It looks like maybe a knee.
I hope it's not a knee.
Yeah.
Let's watch Mondo limp back here.
Oh, no.
Now he's going to take a 10-minute injury timeout. I heard the referee saying, I'm starting the stopwatch right now. Mondo now coming back in, though. That's the quickest 10-minute timeout I've ever seen in my life. Now he's back out.
Oh, I don't like this at all. Let's take an instant replay of that, Chris. And it was right around where Paul Brady is wiping the floor there. It's the first time I've ever seen Paul do that. But really hope that, maybe Mondo just slightly twisted it and it's not going to be a problem. Here it is. Dave, I know you had a serious knee injury about 3.5 years ago.
I didn't really see anything there.
Well, he kind of changed direction, and he was going left, and Paul went behind him, and it looked like he tried to reverse path and go. And we're hearing now that it's more in the Achilles area for Mondo Ortiz. Maybe an ankle or Achilles. He's now, Dave, tying his shoes, I mean, super tight. He's going to cut off the circulation
Here we
in
go,
his.
one more time here.
So it is an
anything.
ankle area. It's not the knee.
Oh, yep, you could see it with the left foot there. I don't know if we have a slow motion ability, but you definitely could see him twist that ankle on the left foot trying to pivot.
This is the kind of thing where I think Mondo would be better off just going back in the court and keeping that ankle loose, because if you sit around, and it doesn't look good for Mondo right now. But Dave, sometimes you get the adrenaline going and just keep pushing. You can get through the match. Now tomorrow he might not be able to play at all, but Mondo is clearly upset right now. As we can see him in our booth, he's upset that he's injured because he's in a great match right now. And it's just devastating for Mondo, who's just had such bad luck with his health. He had the heart problems, Dave, and kept him out for a couple of years. He's now back healthy, but I don't think this will be something that will jeopardize his play for the rest of the season, but it certainly could impact the rest of this match.
Hopefully it's just a little bit of a twist, but you could definitely see it on that slow motion replay that his ankle did turn a little bit.
You know, every ankle sprain is different, but you know, I've sprained mine a couple of times actually recently, and the hardest thing is trusting that you can actually stop and pivot on it, because you think to yourself, I'm not going to be able to move to my left and stop and cut. And
here it is again, Dave. And
yeah.
It's not right here, but here it comes right here.
Yeah.
The left foot just kind of turns it over a little bit.
I hate to make it about me, but I did that exact same thing playing 3-wall this summer, and it was more my foot than my ankle. It was sort of on the top of my foot, and it almost looked like the same thing that I did. And it immediately gets weak. You know, you feel a weakness there in your foot or your ankle, and it's almost as though you don't want to put any pressure on it whatsoever. You don't want to run.
Well, my first question would be, why were you playing 3-wall?
Well, I was actually out at Marana Park running that 3-wall event. It was the 3-wall Junior Nationals, where we had 200 kids under the age of 20 playing in that event, as well as a pro event alongside it. I lost to a D player in the first round of the big ball. He was a D. And then I was playing a pickup match against Rambo Ruiz, and twisted my ankle.
I know you've never been a huge fan of 3-wall, and that's why I've asked.
I love it. I played in Vegas this year, had a good time. Played a nemesis of yours, actually, Shorty Ruiz out there. Yeah. I think Shorty's watching right now, so I want to say hello to him.
Shorty, the only player besides Anthony Celesto that has a winning record against me.
Wow. Is he undefeated against you as well?
Not if we count doubles, but singles,
I
yes.
do. I don't.
You don't count doubles?
Not in this stat, no.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. So 2-0, just like Celesto.
He is 2-0.
I actually have an undefeated record against the Ruiz family. So, can't relate. I'm waiting for Ricky, but he's ducking me. What do you do here if you're Paul Brady, Dave? Your opponent is injured. Do you stay on the court and just keep hitting the ball around, and what's your mentality going back in the court? Do you?
That's a great question that you ask, because a lot of people don't know what to do when another player's just got injured. You stay on the court and think the guy's probably going to come back in the first minute or two is generally what happens. An injury timeout usually doesn't take very long. Now, if it takes longer than that, you go out, you change your shirt, you change your gloves, you try to stay warm, because the worst thing you could do is get cold and come back in. against an injured player. And a lot of people come back and think, oh, he's injured, I'm just going to walk away with this match. And that's not the case, because the injured player is going to come back thinking he's hurt, he's going to play harder. The non-injured player is going to think, oh, I don't have to do much because he's hurt. So that's my opinion on the whole injury timeout thing.
I can remember years ago, Sharapova was playing a friend of hers, and in a big semifinal, her friend twisted her ankle, and Sharapova grabbed a ball boy and handed him a racket and rallied with him while her friend got her ankle taped. She took a lot of heat for it, but she said, I'm trying to win this match. You know, that we're friends, but, you know, I don't want to sit down for 15 minutes while
Paul
she
serving,
goes to the
we
trainer.
have 6, plays 5.
It seems cold, but
Short.
It's not cold. You're there to win. And Mondo
Right.
looks like he is not moving too well, grabbing that short serve ball.
do you notice right now that that ball seems really dead? It's probably cold from sitting in the court for the last 10 minutes.
Point.
And I noticed that when they were warming it up, it's going to take a few points before we see that ball
7,
really
plays
moving
5.
again.
And I just hate to see this. 'Cause
Yeah, this
Mondo's
is-
playing, you know, probably one of the matches of his life
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
8, plays 5.
Very disappointing. Now, if you're Mondo here, Dave, do you say, you know what, I really clearly don't have a chance to win this
9,
anymore? Do you
plays
just
5.
say, I'm going to live to fight another day? Do you play it out? Maybe risking further damage.
I think what you do is you play a few points and see if it loosens up a little bit.
5,
if it can
plays
stay
9.
warm. And then you dress it from there. If you obviously can't move at all,
Hold on, I'm going to call a hitter ball.
then you're done.
I called it before. 'Cause
But
I thought he
Mondo
took your
seems
shot.
like
I thought
he's
he
moving
screened you.
okay.
Well, sometimes with a sprained
Thought he
ankle or a
screened you.
sprained
You
foot,
missed
you
it,
can
you
move
won
one way,
We have
but not
5,
the other
plays
way.
9 over.
So I'm not sure which. I think it's the left foot. So you may have a harder time moving to his left and planning.
Hold on.
Oh,
It was up, Paul.
I don't think so.
He was right
Oh,
behind
that's a
you, couldn't
makeup
see.
call from the last game.
Was the last call, was that an avoidable as Paul jumped across? It
I
was,
was thinking the same thing. I didn't say it, but it did look like an avoidable on the last or second to last
yeah,
play.
because
5,
Paul
plays
clearly
9.
crossed the path of the ball, and Mondo still made a good shot. I think that's the hardest thing for a referee to call, because it's hard to teach a guy, especially a young guy who's in there
9, plays 5.
refereeing a legend, what an avoidable is, because circumstances dictate what an avoidable is a lot of the time, and he just doesn't want to make that call.
You know who wouldn't have a problem making that call is Dave Steinberg. He would make it in a second.
10,
Be
Well,
happy
he
with
has
that.
a quota, actually. He mandates that he calls 3 per match. So,
11, plays 5.
and this here is really a shame. Mondo really playing an amazing match. And, you know, maybe he would have lost in 2, and that's a backhanded fist. Maybe not, but you just don't want to see it end like this.
Wow, that's a nice shot right in the right corner. But as I went out and talked to Mondo and his camp, found out that his left ankle is sprained. And he just said he was just so
12,
emotional,
plays
almost
5.
wanting to cry.
Yeah.
Like, I've got this, you know, right in my grasp.
Yeah.
I'm playing good handball, and he's just so frustrated.
Well, now Mondo's just not hitting really any good shots.
Well, that was a good shot right there. Paul looked just completely out of sorts.
Well, it was about as bad a shot as he could have hit from that spot. The ball popped up. Paul had a play to either hit it with his
5,
left or
plays
throw it
12.
into the back wall with his right, and just sort of tripped himself up.
Looked like Paul thought he was going to be shooting the ball down the left, and Mondo not hitting the shot he was probably going for. It just confused Brady for a bit.
And Dave, just to talk about your tournament here, you came in 9th, which is a nice comeback for you with wins over Aaron Garner and Luis Cordoba.
12,
But
plays 5.
you were 2 points from beating Nadi Alvarado. And you know that had you beat Nadi, you would have played John Iglesias, who you've never lost to. You would have been in the semifinals against Robbie McCarthy. Now, I don't want to bring up an open wound, but is
5,
that something
plays
that you'll
12.
think about as you go home and maybe put your head on the pillow? Because it very well could be you playing Robbie McCarthy tonight, and that would be a great match, just like it will be with Nadi. Or do you just sort of chalk that up as, you know, that's sports, you win some and you lose some?
You know, my expectations coming into this were there was a few players that I was hoping to face in the round of 8 that I knew I could beat. Nadi, I thought I had a good chance against, but he played me very well. He played great, and I wasn't disappointed because I don't have the expectation to beat him right now. Now, I did get close, and he was up 24 to 19 or whatever it was, and I made some points to get there. But I wasn't upset at what I did for where I want to be at this point in my coming back again.
Close the handle, Mondo, please.
So you won't lose any sleep?
No.
Okay.
No, the head will be on the pillow and snoring away tonight.
13 plays 5.
Whose pillow will that be tonight? 13-5.
Really?
It'll be at the Quinn Hotel.
Oy.
Oh, with the Quinn. Okay.
Very nice.
That's a terrible shot there from Mondo.
Scores 14-5.
Take an instant replay of that last play. What happened there, Dave?
At this point, it's probably time to not push it any further and just chalk it up. I mean, because he's not going to come back.
No. But you know, we've all been in situations. Two of us in this booth many more times than you, Dave Chapman. But when the match is just out of hand, you've lost the first game, you're down huge in the second game, nothing is going your way. What do you do at that point?
Well, I have to step in.
This would be your forte here.
This is where you go over to your bag. You call a timeout, go over to your bag. You right out to the center of the court, and you just empty the contents right on the center of the court.
Yeah.
Just empty it.
Okay.
You have loose change. You have tape for your fingers, your gloves, your wallet, your iPhone, whatever it is. You just empty it right there and say, you won. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's the ending. Now, Mr. Chapman here, you've actually won national championships when you were down.
Hold on.
All of Sean Lenning, first game 2011 after your comeback, you had this huge comeback against Sean Lenning, and you were able to actually win that national championship. So if you would have dumped out your contents, it might have been a little embarrassing. But
on a different point or serious point, you have nothing to lose at 14-5. So why not try something that you haven't tried in the whole match? Go for some shots that you may not normally go for. If you have nothing to lose, you're down 14-5. Who knows what's going to happen? You may lose 21-5. You may get up to 11. If you get to 11, then you start putting the pressure on the other player.
Getting back to what Dave Vincent said for the first time, I've actually seen his bag at the bottom of the Tucson Racket Club pool after every match we've ever played. I'm surprised it doesn't float, but it doesn't. And since you can't swim, it's pretty much garbage.
Who wants wet belongings? Mondo has a good left in this tournament, and he just ropes that ball down the left wall
Foot on the serve.
and gets the side out. And then you have the referee just warning Paul Brady that he has a foot on the line. I mean, if you're telling a guy that you're avoidable, that's an avoidable, I mean, why warn? Just give him the call.
I mean, you're not a coach. You're the ref. So if you're over the line, you call it. If you're not, you don't.
6 plays 14.
Mondo actually looks pretty good right now. Like his ankle is warmed up a little bit. He looks like he's
from point to point. It is different.
Looks like he's re-engaged here right now.
Both agree. Second serve.
He could catch Paul here a little bit complacent. And like you said, Dave, if he scores 4 or 5 points here in this inning, and there's one, that was an amazing shot.
That's a nice shot right there.
You know, the NBA's thinking about adding a 4-point shot. Should that count as 2 or 3 points? A flat rollout like that?
14.
Well, we were thinking about painting little circles on the court.
I knew you were going there,
This is the 5-point shot.
Well, can we give points for a perfect ceiling ball also if we're going to give points for a flat roll?
We just didn't have a ladder high enough.
We do have some laser technology that we could probably do.
14.
Well, we only use that for our miles per hour.
We only do that at Salt Lake City.
Short ball.
You probably won't be there, but
Second serve.
probably come as a fan. That's a huge overhit from Paul Brady. And Mondo just ropes it down the right.
Dave, have you ever gone on the court and practiced the ball that hits the front wall, then the back wall? Because it's not a shot that you would really practice. I don't think it's in your DVD, but
I know that when you're playing Kevin Willis, it happens a lot.
Actually, Ryan Willis,
Kevin Pettis, Ryan Willis, it's 2-on-1 I meant.
Anyway, I've finally figured out how to hit the front wall, back wall shot in the last 18 months, but I'm not going to share it with you.
Okay. I'm not talking about when it re-hits the front wall.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't re-hit the front wall.
Okay,
I
yeah.
figured it out.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
you got it. All right.
You may get to see it when you watch.
Okay.
But I'm not going to
Well, I might
throw
just
it
give
out
it to
there.
you on the first point of the match, just so I can see it.
Well, if
and
you
then
do
I'll,
that, then you'll see it.
But then I'll be able to then use it, so it'll help me out
It's
in
so
case I ever
easy.
get it.
It's such an easy shot now for me. Before, it would just go right in the ground. Right in the
Okay,
ground.
okay,
Just
yeah.
like everybody else.
Yeah, okay. Well, sometimes you just hit it so hard it comes way off the back wall. That's even worse than right in the ground, because it gives them the satisfaction to hit a 100-mile-per-hour flat roll.
I'm referring to Kevin Pettis and Ryan Willis as
point?
Kevin Pettis or
9,
Kevin Willis.
I was actually with you on
Yeah,
that.
you know,
Okay.
it's a 2-on-1. I'm sure you're playing 2-on-1 back home.
Yeah, actually, Will Limp is one of the players.
Oh,
that
okay,
I
so
was
it's
playing.
3-on-1.
Well, it was.
3-on-1 then.
Was.
Mondo now just having a nice little run here after we're talking about him chalking it up.
10,
And Dave, you were mentioning just trying something that you weren't doing, but I think he's trying something that he was doing, but he's actually executing it now. And that is the bottom board, also making Paul run. And how is this going to affect Paul in the next round if he were to advance?
Well, let's not think about the next round just yet, Dave.
Mondo just hit an 85-mile-per-hour laser. That was just a flat roll. And
See, I don't see him hopping on that foot either right now as
Right.
he's walking back. Great camera
11
angle by our
plays
team there.
14.
He's not moving like he was about 7 points ago.
our team is amazing.
And another huge setup.
Now he doesn't shoot that ball, Dave.
Yeah, but
Frustrating. Oh, what a get from Paul. But that should have been the rally ender there, and instead Mondo.
Now he's hopping on the foot. See, I don't understand it.
Well, you hop when you don't get the point. You should understand that.
Well, I was hoping that would come from
14
David Fink's mouth,
plays
but it
11.
didn't.
Well, when it comes from mine, it doesn't mean anything. From Dave, it's just brilliant.
And you know, Mondo should have won that last rally. It would have been 12-14. Instead, it's 15-11. That's a huge swing.
Gotcha.
Well, this late in the ball game, it is
Yeah.
a huge swing. Now you see Paul kind of limping a little bit. Paul giving also a fist pump after that last shot. I mean, he wanted that, and then he has to pull that out.
Dr. Tyler Hamill, watching from Houston, Texas, said he did
point.
indeed roll that ankle.
Oh, certainly. I mean, he
15
told
plays
me that he
11.
pulled the ankle.
Yeah.
I mean, a chiropractor's not really a doctor, so I mean, we already looked and saw that he rolled the ankle. We don't need a chiropractor
Wow.
saying anything about that.
Mondo did not give Paul much room there. Paul fought off the screen,
16 plays 11.
hit a flat roll. Oh,
Ugh.
no. And what should have been 12-14, Mondo serving is now just about
17
over.
plays 11.
Oh, that's a terrible serve from Paul, but somehow he's going to get the point anyway.
And, you know, Dave, I don't think Mondo was hopping because he lost that point. I think he actually aggravated the ankle
Your
trying to
second,
run back and pick up that
18,
pass
11,
shot
1
at
minute.
11-14. And we can maybe rewind that, but I don't think he was doing that because he wanted to make it seem like he was injured. I actually think he re-aggravated the injury on that point at 11-14, running back to try and pick up the pass.
Well, go ahead.
Well, that's it.
You said David. I don't know if David means David Chapman or Dave Vincent, or I know I'm Claude, I think is my new name. But definitely Paul Brady right now is up 18-11. That's what we can say. And I thought that what you said about Mondo having that slight little get up there at the end, you know, when you've sprained your ankle, just leaving your block sometimes will just trigger whatever that problem is, and it lasts for a couple minutes and it'll go away again. Mondo's got a lot of adrenaline right now, and I can see him overcoming it. But we saw him overcome his ankle sprain about 10 points later, and it might not be enough points here at 18-11. I can tell you right now, whatever the outcome of this is, Paul Brady has got a wake-up call here.
Side out.
And there's an error from Paul. We've seen Mondo put together a 7-point run
11 plays 18.
earlier in this game. He'll need it here. He does not have much margin for error with Paul Brady at 18 points. So he's going to have to play mistake-free handball because you know Paul Brady's going to make some great shots.
Serve.
Mondo will not be able to afford to give away any points. And you see a second serve there. Mondo goes for a... Oh.
No,
Is that the Paul Brady factor, or is that the ankle factor?
Ankle factor.
Okay.
Well, you realize people miss. I mean, Mondo missed shots yesterday. I mean, you don't make 100% of your shots.
Brady also misses.
Yeah.
And that was a ball that missed about 8 feet before the short line. Second serve.
Terrible error there from Mondo.
'19 plays 11.
You heard that. 19-11 is the score.
And you have to think if Mondo's in the server's box, he's still got a chance. He's got the firepower.
19.
Great pass down the right.
You know, that ankle sprain affected Mondo for about 7 or 8 points. And you see, that's the difference here in this game. These guys really played even throughout this match. First game could have gone either way. Amazing shot from Mondo.
11 plays 19.
Dave, this could be you playing against Paul Brady right now. Not to, push it into you a little bit, but are you somewhat impressed with what you're seeing from Mondo Ortiz here?
Very impressed, yeah.
I mean, he really has put himself, I believe, into the Elite Eight just by watching him play.
Yeah.
And I know those in Ireland.
No question is he in the top 8 for sure after watching this match and watching some previous matches over the last few months.
Hold on, thank you.
Mondo he just is in an environment where he's trying to overcome some things back at home. He's working in construction. He's playing outdoor big ball. He's trying to get into shape. He's trying to shake some of the stuff that went on in the past. And you can see that he is so focused. Some of that stuff helps you. And I think Mondo is being advised by his own brain, and it's absolutely amazing. He's got a huge support group back home as well.
I had a chance to meet his dad this summer, Armando.
Great guy.
Yeah, wonderful guy.
Great match, gentlemen.
And
That's
Armando,
a good showing.
Yeah.
Even though he lost that match, Mondo had a great showing.
Well, Mondo made a lot of fans here in this match, and well-deserved. He'll be a crowd favorite in every city he plays from this point forward. He's a great kid. He's got a great attitude. Paul Brady, though, doing what he does, finding a way to win even without his best stuff, and I think that's a sign of a really great player. Played against somebody who was hot, who was hungry, and Paul Brady withstood the charge and did what he had to do and made the shots when he had to make them, and he'll be in the final.
Paul Brady wins that game number 2, 21-11, after advancing in the first game 21-19. And you're right about making fans. Mondo Ortiz definitely did one of those here in New York. We have another good one coming up next. Dave, we have 2 Daves here, but I don't know how you predict what's going to go on here in the second semifinal match as we preview it here really quickly. Robbie McCarthy, who seems to have every tool that you've ever wanted to have as a handball player, up against Nadi Alvarado Jr. 40 years of age is Nadi Alvarado, and he is going up against Robbie McCarthy.
How old is he, Dave?
Nadi is 40.
Okay.
And Robbie McCarthy is 26. And, you've got sort of Luis Moreno talent with Robbie McCarthy, and then you've got that thing that Nadi can do where he plays elite handball, and then sometimes he has this roller coaster up and down in one match. He'll have 3 or 4 up and downs in one match. Which Nadi is going to show up? Which Robbie is going to show up? That's kind of the question.
I don't know the shape that Nadi's in, or what his recovery is after playing. I guess he played one tough match and then one kind of semi-tough match. So I think if his recovery's good and he's not sore, I like the way Nadi's playing this tournament. He's serving good. His left hand looks great. I mean, I would have to go with Nadi in this match.
Well, Dave, Nadi and Robbie have played once before, 2011. Robbie won very easily, 21-4, 21-15. Now, that was with a different ball, a ball that Nadi's not as comfortable with. But, Robbie's an amazing get artist. He puts a lot of pressure on just by making those great gets. But Nadi, Dave, as you saw yesterday, he's a flat roll artist, and it doesn't matter how good of gets you make. He literally flat rolls the ball from amazing spots on the court, and I think that'll frustrate Robbie. And if Nadi serves the way he has in the first 2 rounds here and follows it up with some of those unbelievable kills, I think we're in for an amazing match.
Yeah, Nadi doesn't look like a 40-year-old playing right now. I mean, he's playing at a great. His pace is good. His shots are good. His serves are good. So I think if he can carry this into this match and make those shots, I mean, I haven't seen Robbie play enough to see what his defense looks like, but I'm going to go with Nadi.
Well, Dave, while we have a couple minutes here, let's talk a little bit about you. You decided to make your second comeback.
Well, let's hold on here just a second. Let's go ahead and wrap this match up, and that just simply means that we're going to hit the stop button on the record for later use for on-demand access, and then we'll come back and just ask that question really briefly here. For Dave Fink and Dave Chapman, we're just wrapping up that last semifinal match as Mondo Ortiz loses, and to keep your headsets on, we'll just go ahead and ask that question now. But Armando Ortiz loses to Paul Brady 21-19 and then 21-11 as we close out that first semifinal match here at the Race for 8 stop number 4. New York Athletic Club. Coming up next will be Nadi Alvarado Jr. versus Robbie McCarthy at racefor8.com. But now, as we get